Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've had some experience in sister cities, but I don't think any of them quite as exciting as this one. When I was lieutenant governor, we started the Colorado Sister City program, and those were very interesting. We had Denver paired with Fowler, the biggest and one of the smallest, Leadville with Holly, the highest and the lowest, and that's a challenge. More energy flow, and the Denver Fowler relationship was very successful and very mutually beneficial. So that is what sister cities are about, and you're going to see all, I think, today. I wanted to just make a couple of comments to set the stage. India is a wonderful, it's the world's most populous democracy. Think about that. 1.33 billion. Billion. And we've got 0.33 billion. The world's most populous democracy by far and away, far and away. It is by some measures, the world's 6th largest economy. There's one study that actually is based on a per capita spending capability is 3rd largest. So this is an amazing country that I have to admit I don't know enough about. And I think part of this is the geographical distances, but it is amazing. And I encourage all of you to read about the history of India. We have common roots with the British, and we won't go there very far. As an energetic, absolutely committed to the democratic political system, as we are. And so despite bumps in the roads along the way, we both have continue to, it is a remarkable country. I urge you to learn more. I have so much more to learn. So today what we're going to do is hear from some very fascinating individuals from this wonderful country. And I want to start with our sister city representatives. And this lady has done more to establish, I think, not only economic but cultural relationship between the two nations. Would you please welcome Purnima Boria, founder and CEO of the National U.S.-India Chamber of Commerce.
Namaste. And I'm going to go behind this table because we're not supposed to show our backs to them. And sometimes we can be forgiven for that, but it makes more sense to stand here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the kind invitation, and welcome to my 2 Indian colleagues. What a pleasure it is to host you in the United States, and especially with the able leader like Mayor of Gunnison. He is so friendly. If it was not friendliness at the conference, I would have probably not decided to, on a weekday, to come 4 hours, 5 hours drive. But it was totally, it was really beautiful. So thank you to Sister Cities for the work they do, as well as, I don't know if you guys know, Denver is Sister Cities with Chennai, and has been for many, many years. So there are many people who has visited Chennai, and I would say that you all must visit the relationship that you're building, because nothing happens unless you go experience the cultural experience, the place, the beauty. I think it's similar to Gunnison, and probably you will have Indian culture and food with them. And I think from the National U.S.-India Chamber of Commerce point of view that I started, I would like to say that it's so important to have these relationships, because without this kind of interaction and relationship, you cannot do business with a country. So relationships first, business second is what I'm trying to say. And everything will be driven when you have a leadership like you have in Gunnison, the friendliness and the people to India. And I don't know who the gentleman is who came to India and spent a couple of months.
Professor John is here.
Okay.
And his
Yes.
students are here.
Yes.
And many more were not here, but they all.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what is peace and prosperity. If we want peace, this is how we achieve it. I commend you all, and I congratulate you all for this beautiful, sublime relationship. May it grow and best. And if we can do anything, whether Sister Cities or our chamber, we would love to help you flow and thrive this relationship into India. And Mr. Mayor, I invite you to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please follow your advice. I wasn't comfortable down there with my back still. I'm going to be better. Now I'd like you to welcome Jason Nagy. He is a member of the Board of Directors of Denver Sister Cities International. Jason?
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Ajay Rastogi and Ajay Prasad, it's a pleasure meeting you as well, and welcome. I'd like to talk a little bit about Sister Cities, since I participated last week in the Sister Cities International Conference, and also am serving as Vice Chair of Denver Sister Cities International. Really about the eclecticism and the people-to-people aspect of the organization, and how that we all can make a difference, both in our own communities and then extend it out further in the region and internationally. And a lot of that, the importance is of on things that you may not think are in your circles, extending out into new ideas and relationships. And so I'm on this journey to constantly learn. I'm not a native of Colorado, and I'm learning a lot about the Colorado spirit of collaboration over competition, and how aspects of community are so important, and that we base things really on relations more than any kind of particular ideology. And again, mixing is important. So I believe strongly in the sense of our place in the world, both as an American, in this very small world that we live in, and the really sharing all kinds of experiences from history and philosophy to science, and really getting the time to spend with each other. So Sister Cities is what we make as individuals. There are some guideposts that we can do if we rise up to levels of greater decision-making authority in terms of institutions and institutional relationships. But we really strongly believe in the small towns throughout the communities in Colorado, and sharing in that spirit. Enough in Denver, even though having just been living here the 3.5 years. So it was such a pleasure to come up with Ms. Purnima Voria today, and hope to get out here much more often. I would just like to say, very importantly, that I've really been guided recently by the relationship that I've had with Ms. Purnima Voria. So I thank her very much, what she's to improve the relationship and reach out so strongly. As I made efforts to make connections, she's really the one that has made them happen. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for inviting me today. Appreciate it. Good luck.
So he's new to Colorado. I think he's quick. He fit right in. Well, we're gathered here today really to witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the sister cities. And I would like to now with our mayor, Mayor Jim Gelwicks, and he will introduce the other two representatives. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. And it is a great honor to be part of today's ceremony. It is about the people of our city, Gunnison, and of our sister city, Majhkali. All of us, those who are fortunate enough in the future to travel each other's communities, will be amply rewarded, and those of us who are unable to do that will be rewarded by sharing the experiences that come back. And so this is really the culmination of the work of many people. Already mentioned is the work of the MEM program, the students at Western, the faculty at Western, certainly also with our friends at Cold Harbor. The establishment of this relationship, it may seem quite rapid in the eyes of the outside world. It is really built on a strong foundation of work, and I appreciate everyone in this room who has been part of that, as well as the visitation of our honored guest today. And let me stop knocking the microphone. Yeah, I'm trying to create my own noise. Anyway, my true counterpart, Nana Ram, cannot be here, so he has sent his representatives, and he sent a letter authorizing them to act on his behalf and Majhkali's behalf. And in that letter, he says, we stand together in developing vision for a meaningful engagement. And I love that phrase, a meaningful engagement as we move into the future, and I look forward to that. And I want to close my short remarks today by a poet by the name of Dobruch, who is a South American poet, who wrote the following: one tree, so many leaves, one tree. One river, so many creeks, all go to one sea. One head, so many thoughts, surely one good thought. So many types of hair, colors of skin, so many tongues, one people. And I think that that's really the challenge and the future of our communities, is to become one as a people and understand each other. We live in a world where we are mountain headwaters, and we face those challenges together. And let me at this time introduce our first representative, Ajay Rastogi, who is the first person from his city to visit Gunnison a couple of years ago, 2016, if I remember right. He has founded an institute which Western students have had the pleasure of working with and associated in developing their curriculum. And Majhkali, he's a philosopher and ethics practitioner with an extensive experience in working across the fields of environment, agriculture, livelihood, and ethical business practice. So, Mr. Rastogi, please come forward.
Professor John Hausdorfer's daughter, 6-year-old soul. We were on a very high altitude trek, like way beyond in the mountains. And she was digging and saying that if we dig deep enough, we'll reach Gunnison. Because she was missing her cat. And now that I have slept with that cat for 2 nights, I know why. So thank you very much. I mean, it's really, my heart overflows with gratitude for so many people. They have made this journey so meaningful. And we are definitely one world. And if there is one message from India, despite such a huge population, I think traditionally it is peace inside is peace outside. So we are, even as significant individuals, 1 in 1.3 billion. If we can make 2 people more smile with us, I think that's a good journey. And the smiles of the students of Western were countless in our journey together in this 5 weeks spent in our little village. Now when we come here, you can see the difference, cultural difference, economic difference, difference of upbringing, difference of language. And they were hosted by our village women. Many of them couldn't even sign. And they were just eating the same food that we were eating in the village. I don't think they got any protein deficiency, hopefully. Did you? I think where I'm getting to is that the marriage of 2 cultures is also about marriage of value systems. And those value systems lie very deep. They are not just about language in which we speak. I think they are in our hearts, deep inside in our unconscious, the value systems are. And as human beings, we were just yesterday with one of, I think in my whole career I've been to kind of more than 25 countries thanks to my jobs. But I wish I had seen Rocky Mountain Lab when I was in my 20s. I don't think I would have gone anywhere else in the world. With such a state-of-the-art research and the history of research that is there. So I don't think and the kind of work means we were so enamored by the amount of time that all of you have devoted, and Lieutenant Governor himself introducing us all. So it is really, I think, a big cultural experience for us. And not only in this visit, but last 2 years of interaction. And without naming names, I would like to really, really thank you from my heart. Thank you very much.
Our other representative from the city of Majhkali is Ajay Prasad, and he has worked in the public governmental sector for all of his life, and now is, I guess, semi-retired, because he still keeps all of those contacts where he has traveled the world, conducting business in places such as Nigeria and Europe and so on. And he has managed joint ventures. He truly, in the best words that I can say, a patron of our sister city, Majhkali. So, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Where do I begin? Last 5-6 days have been so exciting all the time. Every minute, every place, every corner. She's sitting there at the Cold Harbor. Other friends, John is there, principal of the school. Russ, everybody has been so good, kind to us. The first thing that comes to my mind that I don't know who and why and how this date was chosen. And last night I was thinking there's something more to it. And I realized, yes, 7th is my birthday also. Not today, but 7th. But the most important thing is that today is Tuesday. And Purnimaji will will me out that any auspicious thing, any is always attributed to Tuesdays. And we have a Mangalwar. And we have a god, monkey god, Hanuman, if anybody knows. And he is a very, very revered god. So it is the 7th, it is the birthday date, it is Mangalwar, it is Tuesday, and great evening with all of you. There's a lot which Ajay has said, Mayor has said, and our people are excited to know more about our visit, Gunnison, etc. And it looks to me that we are carrying loads and loads of things to tell them. And find out ways and means that even 2 out of 10, if they mature, it'll be a great success. Because two societies, two cultures, variety of things are so different, but human beings are the same. As Ajay said, perhaps nobody had a protein deficiency, irrespective. My community leader, the elected representative, we call them Gram Pradhan. And I'm very happy that Purnimaji is here, because she'll be able to relate, and she's based out of Denver, right? So she can be conduit in this kind of relationship. If I have the permission of the mayor, may I read out this letter?
Sure.
Of the file living. I would like to read out the letter. The gentleman's name is Nandram, N-A-N-D-R-A-M, Nandram. Dear Honorable Mayor, Galvix, and citizens of Gunnison, accept my greetings from the Majhkali community as well as on my personal behalf. It is indeed an honor for us to be a sister city with Gunnison. We have facilitation and support from your kind office and appreciate your deep personal interest. We stand together in developing vision for a meaningful engagement, which I guess also mentioned, meaningful engagement of the two communities in the near future and in the long run. The key institutions involved in this pioneering and from Gunnison are Western State Colorado University and the Cold Harbor Institute. As you are aware, we have been honored with a visit led by Dean Professor John and others in May and June 2018 on behest of our local organization, Majhkali Himalayan Center, and FCN, that is Foundation for Contemporary Nature. That is what we are representing here in your city. These institutions have been at the forefront of sustainable development in our region. I understand that effort and work has gone into making this collaboration possible over the last 2 years, and it was indeed a delight to meet and interact with the visitors from Gunnison in last month. I am extremely happy to see that these modest efforts are going to form the foundation for a much larger and comprehensive relationship between Gunnison and Majhkali as a part of the Sister City initiatives. I am optimistic that the Sister City platform would enable many more members of the two cities to come for mutual learning, exchanges of projects, and many other things. I understand that some of the areas which are organically emerging for effective and long collaboration are, and then he has listed out some of them. The recently held Mountain Resiliency course has been a great success, and we must sustain it with great effort. Students are encouraged to plan suitable MEM projects. As a part of the cross-cultural and learning exchange, an overall student exchange program could be thought of for all age groups. That's very important for all age groups. So it is not necessarily with students. All of you, any one of you who come, perhaps it will be equally interesting. The Penpal program has already and the schools which could be further widened and strengthened. A meeting on Skype could be the means to get professionals from both the sides in their area of work. A quarterly or even a monthly meeting could be tried to begin sharing and forming potential ideas. Projects such as the recently implemented water station are extremely useful. As the ideas pour in the course of interactions, we should consider an organic growth of such collaboration in several areas such as waste management. Trading partnership of communities-based enterprises in both the cities should be promoted. Access of the Gunnison community to some of the local products that enhance the livelihoods of the producers in our community could be explored given the legislative, financial and other issues involved. Homestays have been extremely effective in promoting cultural and learning exchange, and at Majhkali we have mastered the art of hosting in the village homes and are extremely happy to extend and invite to all community members in Gunnison. We have access to many old and new trails for beautiful walks and nature. Marking of these trails and documentation for visitors could be another potential area of collaboration. Celebrating life and nature through festivals is deeply ingrained in our culture. We could explore taking some of these ceremonies from your place to ours and from ours to yours, at least once a year. It could begin with the starting to observe a festival of each other every year to make this bond of friendship stronger. I would also like to mention that this letter is jointly signed by head of the homestay moms and Mr. Ajay Prasad and Mr. Ajay Rastogi as a symbolic gesture of community spirit. Him and many others from the community have played a very significant and important role in bringing this partnership together. But for their untiring efforts, it would not have been possible to reach up to this stage. I wish this collaboration a grand success and shall always be keen to facilitate and work for the mutual growth of our cities. Mr. Prasad and Mr. Rastogi, meeting you all soon, and I look forward to hearing more about the emerging ideas for mutual engagement upon their return. I would finally like to take this opportunity to extend an invite from our community to all of you and hope to see you and many other citizens of Gunnison in the coming years. Thanks again and warm regards. This is a letter by Gram Pradhan and the house moms and the Gram Pradhan herself. I would give it to the mayor as it meant for you. So today is a ceremonial day, and please allow me to indulge into a little ceremonial affair. And no side effects, no harmful effects, no nothing. So please be, we've been doing it for centuries, all these things. And I must thank, you've been extremely helpful, and Jillian the other side there. So I take this opportunity first of all to present a traditional gift to the community through the mayor, which is this sacred pot with a lamp. And maybe I would request you, जरा पानी निकाल देंगे थोड़ा सा. Sorry.
इसमें घुसा तो नहीं है?
नहीं घुसा है, ऊपर से निकाल थोड़ा सा पानी गिराइए. Just give me water. Here you are, sir. You hold it from the down. No, it won't hurt you at all.
It won't hurt me, but I may drop it.
No, yeah, just pass it on. It's more symbolic. This is no, which is a most traditional festival that we have, and I think if I'm correct, Purnima ji will vouch for it, that it is also celebrated in the US I know about London, Deepavali as we call it. Festival of lights, goodwill, human being meeting each other, race, caste, creed, religion, color, doesn't make any difference. Everybody will embrace whatever it is. So, along with this, and by the way, there is water in it, and we have a spoon, and this is the holy water of Ganges. And I have just seen water of Gunnison. So this is the holy water of Ganges, and we have poured one bottle here, and I would request, or maybe one of us, will just give you a spoon each just to drink it. It's pure water, water is from your side, and this is from the holiest river, Ganges, from us. In our traditional system, we have this particular god, by the name of Golu Devta we call it, and it is Lord of Justice. Any kind of dispute, disharmony, family, business, anything, there is a very, very huge temple where everybody visits, and I'm very happy to that, to the best of my knowledge, Dr. John Haushofer and other friends also visited in their recent trip. And when we offer this, then we ring the bell. And right people have all kind of ways and means to use this bell in a very, very rhythmic manner. So this is also a part of the community gift to you, sir. And Mr. Ajay Rastogi will be able to tell a little more. And this is a thread. So we have the Ganges water, we have this God with us. Why I have brought these things? Because perhaps there will be some semblance of our living, the culture, how people behave. You will not believe if anybody would go to this particular temple, you know, I don't know if it works or not, but in India it works, the stamp paper, where the agreements take place, registration take place, and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of people and write their application on the stamp paper in this temple and hang it there for seeking justice. It could be a property dispute, it could be a dispute, it could be anything, but they pray for justice. And this sacred thread, in our system, any auspicious thing that happens, which fortunately is happening, we always use this as a sacred thread. My perpetual testimony is Dr. John, and I think he's perhaps wearing now also the sacred thread. Are you wearing this?
Yes.
Yes. So, you have had no ill effects?
No.
So that's a...
I may have had a negative effect on others.
So this will not take you to a dermatologist, this will not do anything. And I would request that either one of you can help tie it to the people there, right? Or I'll come and tie it up. And the last thing is, you played anything? Played? चंदन को क्या कहते हैं? जी, आप कर दे बहुत मेहरबानी। और अगर इसके साथ ही ले जाएं, now this is चंदन को क्या कहते हैं?
Plate under this just in case.
चंदन को क्या कहते हैं?
Sandal.
Sandalwood, yeah. I'm sorry. So this is a particular kind of wood, which is known as sandalwood, and I'm sure a lot of you people would know. This is also a very, very auspicious thing, that whenever any such event takes place, just put it in a forehead, right? Purnimaji has been kind enough. So this is a little ceremonial part to make it the function at ease from the very official MOU or etc. I'm very happy she came here because she's really facilitating me.
So usually you should put your hand here when you are doing this, and then, because that's sign of unity.
ज़्यादा जल रहा है।
वैसे plate or something you could have.
From the pantry. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, we also have official Gunnison water too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. So kind of you. I shall give it to our representative, your counterpart there.
Yeah. And then there are two more. So
Fine.
that'd be good.
This is the Gunnison water I'm taking. I brought the Ganges water. So that itself is a great exchange, you know. Two major rivers, major communities. In different ways it means we are connecting with each other. We are connecting with each other in different ways it means. Thank you, sir. ये पानी देना है थोड़ा. नहीं, पानी भी इसी में. There's no table.
So just to make sure that we don't take
Ma'am?
this.
अभी ज़्यादा मोटी हो गई ना.
तेल भी उतना नहीं लग रहा है.
No, I said 7 is the date of birth.
Oh, okay. Because it's my birthday. I
Oh,
thought
really?
if it was yours, we would celebrate.
We can celebrate.
Do it anyway. Thank you.
It's a little warm.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this.
Adding to the climate.
Do we need
Yeah.
to put the fire out?
Can we can douse it now.
Is this?
Maybe we take it now. Because I don't know if it is easy to douse this. I take it to the pantry then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll give the water later. अगर हाथ उठ जाए तो बहुत अच्छा. I would also like to mention that those who are coming in the evening function, perhaps will be able to see of what has happened in last 3 months, from where we started and where we have reached. And a few other things. The school children, they have sent Indian flags for the school kids at your place, and they have sent some greetings and all, which are all here. They have written letters actually, and they have also given the story of this legend, our Reverend God. So, just waiting for Ajay to come. They are for the school children. Yeah, that's what I saw them. I met them this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
Make sure.
they'll get.
Okay, just as a sample, we had a festival of harvest recently. So one of the students has written this letter, and perhaps he's what, 4 or something. Dear my friends, students of Gunnison, how are you all? We are well. We celebrated Harela. Harela is the name of the festival. This is a festival where we plant seeds. It's an interesting read actually. So, well, it's celebrated very commonly, but just to acquaint you with what happens, we celebrated Harela yesterday. This is a festival where we plant seeds and see how well they grow. So it's like a lab, it's like a testing position. It is a kind of a farmer's testing before planting. The green shoots are then cut, and our families worship and bless all of us children with these shoots. So they put these shoots at the back of the ear, so that we too may grow well, like a plant. Then we all eat it and celebrate together. So it is our wish that you all grow and prosper as well. Don't forget us. Happy Harela. And they have done some diagram to show how it grows and so on and so forth. So that is that. And just the last bit of it, if you can give a little introduction of this. Ab bolo devta? Haan. Ajay will give. I will leave this.
time means you say we are in a culture where when you say 5:30, it's 5:30. You know, so India we would say 5:30-ish, and then it would be any time until 6:30. So.
Probably about 10 minutes or so left here for your.
And do
I
we
think
have
we're doing well.
other?
Okay, before there as well.
Yes. Okay. So, a brief thought about our region is as you know, is in the central Himalayas, and I think mountain communities by and large had a lot of connection, deep connection with the nature elements of nature, and for that reason, means rocks and several caves and ponds and certain pastures have been considered sacred since time immemorial. We had the great opportunity to be walking with the sacred Uttarakhand for 9 days with all the students, and he was talking to us and pointing out about all the sacred aspects of nature. I think this whole revival of our deep connect with nature, we were with Suzanne at Cold Harbor, and the whole care, stewardship, that ideas of nature that we are now rekindling and reviving, I think is a renaissance of the same spirit. And that's what when I meant by I was trying to say, that this is also a very foundational value that we are connected as to mountain communities. And about the justice idea, so one of our landscape, see there are several gods who are, because when we talk of the Hindu, we have this very major trinity, you know, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the creator and the maintenance and the destroyer. But when we have our local, if you look, there are deities and there are gods at every landscape level. And this Golju, as we express him, is like a god in our region. And it's so powerful for the idea of justice that even now, suppose if I have been met with any injustice, suppose I was working in the city council, mayor transferred me to some, and I feel that this was not justified. So I will go to the temple with my transfer letter and put it in hang it in maybe I'll request Jake to put pictures from that temple if you still have time for the slideshow later. But so then that's how it is, you know. Or for marriage proposals, for my grandfather may have taken away the land from your grandfather, and then if we have dispute, and it goes up to 7 generations. So the justice of up to 7 generations can be done, and that's, I think, another very deep aspect of our here and there, is that we are so much deeply embedded into the earth and the ancestors. Means our family values, if you say, are deep in what we have about our from our cultural point of view. The third aspect of, I think, justice is so much about being able to see how I can see. So when Soul was digging from there to Gunnison, I think that's how we have to see the world, where it's not a lateral wall. We are in this big sphere, and all of us are together. And at this time of the challenge, when sustainability is a real issue, means 1.3 billion is an issue, but 1.3 billion having an aspirations of the same kind of lifestyle is another big issue, because you are blessed in this country with this natural environment, so many rivers. When we look at ourselves, and I think that's a huge part of our partnership, that it may be considered like, okay, the water point that we have done together. I think it's a matter of justice if we actually think. It's coming from our heart, that why we should have equity in access to natural resources as human beings. It's also about dignity that we give and ascribe to us, but also to about other fellow species and fellow environmental creatures. And that's what I'm again seeing here. So I think on that account, the justice idea is deeply entrenched. I think, in your culture, and definitely into constitutions and things like that, and definitely in our culture and in the family values that we have. So I would not go into the details of the origin of the god and those mythical stories. I think have their own significance, but I think at the moment more contemporary is that we imbibe this whole idea of justice. We imbibe into each and every cell of our body. And we give each and every cell of our body that amount of justice that it needs, not just here, but maybe here, and maybe everywhere. And so I think it's been really, really powerful message from the deities and the gods, and the way our students performed and respected and revered all the traditions, not only about visiting the temples, etc., but even within their homes. They will leave the shoes outside when entering the kitchen, and and give namaste with a bowing head to their moms. I really feel that there is no big deal of a difference, and this whole idea of justice can really be a thread which can bind us in so many different ways. Thank you. So there are two options, since we work with American students for the last 8 years, and I can see that group can really with the kind of etiquette of the students, and we had all aqua mirror and everything else. So this is pure Ganges water, which is absolutely fine. But still, the option is that if you don't want to take it, you can take a couple of drops in your right hand and put it over. So if you want to drink it more than that cup, then just respectfully wipe your hands. Nice time. Because also, depends on what you want to know,
Ladies and gentlemen, if I might have your attention, while this is very important. No, so you continue, please. No, I'm not. But we do want to, and please, while the water is going around, we're very honored to have local singer-songwriter Evelyn Roper here with us. Evelyn has been writing and performing for over 25 years. Don't tell many more than that. Since she was 2 years old. And she's going to entertain us now with a song written particularly for this occasion. In your honor, gentlemen. Thank you. Evelyn Roper.
I think I can see that far. I'm very honored to be here, and I've been getting goosebumps and just kind of cool energy happening today, and had no idea that that would happen. So thank you very much for inviting me and having me be a part of today. My family are world travelers. I've been to Mexico as the only other
country that I've been to, which wasn't saying much because I live 60 miles from it. But I hope to visit India. So this song is called With Many Becomes One. And that's part of my goosebumps that I was receiving a little bit ago, the idea that we are all of one. Chorus, if you can remember, is one night, one day, the human race is on its way, building bricks for a bridge relay, with many becomes one.
Okay, now this is the exciting part because now we're going to have the ceremony where the three gentlemen will be signing in sextet. What's the word? Not duplicate, triplicate.
Sextet.
Sextet. There's six of these. And the actual agreement between the two cities, this will, when this is signed, it will institute the sister city relationship. And so I'm going to be signing. And as they do, I'm going to read it to you. Because it could take a few minutes for them to sign 6 copies 3 times. 3 times 6 copies.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get all the copies.
And you might explain the languages too. There's
One is in.
No, you can sign in English, all right.
Yeah, but it's Sanskrit as well. We have a document in English and one document in Hindi.
The MOU is in English, and it was their idea and Mayor's idea. If we have in our own vernacular, it'll be good. And which I thought was very thoughtful, because back home, it'll be easier for me to give this Hindi version to my people. They will understand this also, but feel a lot of proximity that so far away, people have been very considerate to sign this also. So that is how.
While they're signing, I'll read the English version. I can do this one.
You can start your pen up on
The City of Gunnison, Colorado, and Majhkali, India Partnership Memorandum of Understanding. The Sister Cities International Partnership between the City of Gunnison and Majhkali, India, will foster mutually beneficial exchange of ideas, culture, and solutions to simple and complex challenges that face to headwater rural communities. The Sister Cities International relationship between our two cities will result in dynamic, positive, life-changing connections between our residents as the relationship strives to, number one, develop and maintain lasting interpersonal relationships through the time-honored craft of letter writing and cross-cultural travel and programs. Also, commit assistance and service to each other's community projects and ideas for progress which improve our lives. To learn each other's mountain resilience strategies. To manage the demands and expectations of an evolving and expanding global society. To identify and work collaboratively to develop sound solutions to environmental and sustainable issues that could positively affect mountain communities worldwide. To support and promote the development of new social, economic, academic, and community programs. To encourage both city citizens to share their experiences of medium of learning from one another. And to enhance international awareness that Gunnison, Colorado, and Majhkali, Uttarakhand are unique places to live because of our mindful dedication to the environment, to the people, and to the planet. With the above purposes in mind, the City of Gunnison's mayor and the community representative of Majhkali, India, solemnly confirm that these two cities are united by a citizen partnership by the protocol of this Memorandum of Understanding. This agreement will go into effect from the date of the signature, September the 7th, 2018. Signed by these three gentlemen.
almost. You can have the pen that you used.
This is after ages I've seen a pen with a nib.
Yes, it's
An actual fountain
When
pen.
you said you do that, I was wondering why you asking me to do that. And then I saw, oh, it's
Yes.
amazing, ages.
It is traditional, and we have the gift from Majhkali of there, but there's also a gift from the citizens of Gunnison to Majhkali. And with my colleagues who are in the audience who sit on city council with me, and so that you can be recognized as part of the community who is doing this. I wanted something that truly represented Gunnison County, and those of you who recognize the backside of this is marble from Marble, Colorado, which is in Gunnison County, which is the marble used in the several monuments in Washington, D.C., as well as our state capitol. And on it is painted by a local artist, the W Mountain here overlooking the city here in Gunnison. So on behalf
Thank
of
you very much, sir.
the people of Gunnison,
Thank you.
Oh wow, W is also there.
yeah, so it is to the citizens of Majhkali.
Thank you so much.
You need grateful time.
Yeah.
And that's so good. Ever remember.
There is a short explanation of everything. So, and we thank you for your beautiful gift of the urn, and
Thank you.
items used in this ceremony. Thank you very much.
This. Thank you very much. I'm seeing you with all of you with this thing on your forehead, and it looks to me I'm back home. I can't believe, all of them, as I say, we just finished a nice religious function of our type, and with this in hand, it's a great feeling. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Mayor. Lovely function and the gift and the ceremony of course.
Must note that the former Lieutenant Governor is celebrating a birthday.
Yes.
With you folks.
Mine is the date. Birth date is his.
It's a Tuesday, so it's
Tuesday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me thank everyone for attending. We're so honored.
So kind.
So we're coming. We're going to go visit, right?
Yep.
Yes.
We're going to
We've-
go visit.
If he gets reelected, we'll bring him. As we learned in Colorado, sister relationships take work. This is the beginning, not the end, not even the middle. It takes that correspondence we talk about. It takes that communication, the sharing of ideas, particularly as we are headwaters like we are, preserve the environment. And it takes work. The difficult parts will happen, and unfortunately, a few hours ago, we ran into one. Over tariff. India and the United States have just exchanged some very harsh words over tariffs, as you know, very recent. This is going to be difficult, but what we can do with this kind of thing is recognize that national governments do what they do. It is the people-to-people connections. When we hear this kind of news, let's remember today and our friends from India. Let's remember people-to-people connections that make it work. Let the governments do what they're going to do. They're going to do it anyway. But we can be stronger than that. We can be more hopeful than that. And we can have a future that's better than that. So thank you. I would like to remind you that at 5:30, Western State will be hosting a celebration of culture at the ballroom at the University Center. And the delegation, it says here, gentlemen, up there, to emphasize ties between the city and the university. So thank you all for participating. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful first step, and we look forward to seeing you in Majhkali. All right.